Ilhan Omar, elected to defend the Constitution, says she wants to dismantle America's political and economic system. The media's fear mongering over coronavirus hits an all time high. Plus, CNN's Don Lemon actually defends the destruction of America's heroes. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week. If you're new to the show, thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to start with Ilhan Omar because you have to ask, what are her goals? What are her motivations? She is a member of Congress, and when people get elected to that position, they take an oath. They take an oath to defend the Constitution. They go up there, they gather together, and they say this. They say, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God. So, when these members of Congress, like Omar, swear to defend and uphold the Constitution, that doesn't mean dismantle it, right? Because someone needs to talk to her, because that is exactly what she wants to do to our entire economic and political system. And here's a report from the Daily Caller. Omar held an event Tuesday in her home state of Minnesota with members of the Minnesota People of Color and Indigenous Caucus. Omar tweeted earlier Tuesday that the purpose of the event was to address racism and policing in the aftermath of George Floyd's death. Address racism and policing. That's exactly like the Black Lives Matter movement saying that this is all about police brutality, when we know that's based on a lie for one thing, but it's just a foot in the door. It's just a way to advance an entire left-wing agenda. They just use that to get in with the media, to get in with weak leftists and corporate leaders that just bow to them. It's all based on a lie, but it's just the opening. Omar did the same thing. She did the exact same thing. Talked about racism and policing, but then she wastes no time getting to her main points. Here is Omar talking about the ills of capitalism.
As long as our economy and political systems prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality.
So let's stop right there for a second, because in just that short clip, she shows that she is fundamentally against America's way of life. She does not want people to succeed based on merit, based on drive, based on determination, based on talent, based on effort. She doesn't want that. When she says it's bad for our economic and political system to prioritize profit without considering those who profit, it shows she doesn't get it. Because those who profit in this country are those willing to take the chance, those willing to go out and start a business. Maybe it fails, but maybe it succeeds. Maybe it grows. Maybe they can hire other people. Now other families can put food on their table because of this business owner, this person who is willing to go out there, try something new, make a profit, oh my gosh, and succeed. But with her, only those that are labeled by the left, approved by the left, stamped by the left, are the ones that can profit. Those are the ones who can succeed. Only with the left's blessing. Here's what she has to say.
So we cannot stop at criminal justice system. We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it.
Dismantling the whole system of oppression. That's her goal. That's what she wants to do. Dismantle America economically, politically, and yet this is a person that was sworn to defend America, to defend our Constitution. She wants to rip it to shreds. She wants to completely change it to be this model of socialism and leftist activism and policy. That's what she wants to do. But she's not alone. It's like this week was the wake-up call. The entire squad is out in force. Rashida Tlaib and Ayanna Pressley announced a new bill that they want to push forward that just keeps on pushing the Black Lives Matter anarchist agenda. And here's that report. 2 congressional squad members unveiled a wide-ranging proposal Tuesday to defund police departments and establish a reparations program for African Americans and people harmed by the police and the criminal justice system. Under the bill, federal funds to local police and federal agencies would be slashed and diverted to pay for healthcare, education, environmental housing programs. It would eliminate federal programs and agencies used to finance ICE and the controversial Department of Defense 1033 program, which transfers excess military equipment to civilian law enforcement agencies. Environmental housing programs, what is that? Someone please in the comments tell me what environmental housing programs are. Doesn't make sense. ICE is going to be gone. No more extra weapons for the police. Why would they need them anyway? They're going to be defunded. Minneapolis voted to defund their cops, to just get rid of them entirely. San Francisco wants to do the same thing. New York wants to do the same thing. This is what their bill is doing, folks. And that's not even all of it. Here's more from the report. Other provisions include abolishing surveillance tactics disproportionately used to target minority communities, electronic monitoring, including ankle monitors, smartphone apps, and other tools, ending civil asset forfeiture, ending the 3 strikes law, and repealing laws that criminalize illegal immigration. Wow. So that covers just about everything they could possibly want. So that's what Ilhan Omar's doing. That's what Rashida Tlaib's doing. That's what Ayanna Presley's doing. The whole squad is just a mess, folks. And they keep doing it. They keep they got elected to office to uphold the Constitution. Look what Omar wants to do. It's absolutely outrageous. So next, we're going to talk about coronavirus because, yeah, it's time for another coronavirus update. But first, if you love the show, if you're new to the show, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 100,000 members by Election Day. 100K by Election Day, and we can do it with your help. Thank you so much. So next, we're going to talk about coronavirus because the media is freaking out. The Democrats are freaking out. And why? Because the economy is reopening. We're adding millions of jobs back to the economy. The stock market reacts. It's growing. Things are looking good. Things are reopening. People are becoming more optimistic. That's not what the media wants. They like this shutdown. They love the government control. They love what they think it does to President Trump, and they are fighting it tooth and nail. Just look at the narrative. Look how it changed. Before it was deaths, coronavirus deaths all over the place. Now they see that number plummeting. It is going down. So the only thing they focus on are the number of cases. The number of cases are going up. Well, guess what, folks? The number of cases does not matter. Just get that through to people that you talk to. The number of cases does not matter because most of the people who get it won't even get sick. They won't even feel it. There is a vulnerable population. It is a very small percentage, and we know how to take care of them. They know how to take care of themselves. By doing smart policies, we can protect them. They can be okay. The rest of the people can go on with their lives because the stats show that if you're 70 or younger, this is less than the seasonal flu, less deadly than the seasonal flu. That is just a fact that we need to get out to people. Scott Atlas, doctor who's a senior fellow over at the Hoover Institute at Stanford University, was on speaking about the latest coronavirus numbers, the latest push by the media, and here's what he had to say.
It doesn't really matter how many cases. It only matters who gets the cases, because we know the infection fatality rate for people under 70 is 0.04% on the latest analysis. That's less than or equal to seasonal flu.
So there you go. 70 years and older, a 0.04% mortality rate. That's the seasonal flu, folks. That's what's going on. But we see governments wanting to continue lockdowns. Even here in Texas, we have policies in place that infringe on our rights, our constitutional rights. You can't go around telling people you're essential and you're not. You can open your business. You can't. You have to close it down. You have to send those people home. You have to live off the government. You might possibly have to shut your business for good. These people won't be able to pay for food on their table because we deem it so. Mandated masks, can't go out. It's outrageous. We see what's going on. For 70 years and older, this is the seasonal flu. It's absolutely outrageous what the media narrative is pushing, and no one pushes back. Here's more from Atlas.
Only matters if we cannot protect the high-risk people, which we are protecting. We're protecting. How do I know? Because the death rates are not going up. We realize we have to wait to have the story play out here. But right now, the cases have been going up for 3 weeks. We have no increase. In fact, we have a decrease in death rates.
So we have a decrease in death rates just as the number of cases are going up. Cases are going up, deaths are actually going down, which is exactly what we want to see. We want this spreading to the people that don't get it so they can build up immunities. The other thing that we're seeing from the media is this false narrative on hospital capacity. There's been a lot of articles, a lot of talk in the media, especially in Houston, where I'm from, Texas Medical Center, and Atlas addresses that too.
But when I looked at every single hospital area in Texas today, 15 to 20% of people in the hospital as inpatients are COVID positive patients. That means 80 to 85% have nothing to do with COVID-19.
All right, let me say this about hospital capacity, because the media are totally portraying this absolutely wrong, being 100% disingenuous, flat out lying about what's going on. Oh, these hospitals are at capacity. Oh, they're freaking out. Well, guess what? In particular, for the Texas Medical Center, there are different stages of capacity. And in stage 1, they are at 95 or 99% capacity, which is exactly where they want to be. Last year at this time, last summer, 2019, no coronavirus. What was the capacity? 95%. And why? Because it's good business. Just like a restaurant. You don't want full wait staff, greeters, cooks there when there's no people there. You want full capacity, full employment. That's how you make your business. So at this stage, you want capacity. They've got stage 2. They've got stage 3. They have literally thousands of beds that can be used if needed that aren't being used right now because they're only talking about the stage 1 capacity, which is exactly where they want to be. But don't let the media spin it. Get the facts. Get the facts, folks, on what this is, who it affects, and how it affects our freedoms. Next, I want to talk about CNN's Don Lemon, because this guy has gone off the deep end. He does not know what he's talking about. The left is, I don't know if they're afraid or just too stupid, or they've all bought in to the agenda of the extremists that say that it is okay to erase history, that it is okay to riot and loot and vandalize, destroy property to advance their agenda. Because when he was talking to his buddy at CNN, Chris Cuomo, he actually defended the destruction of statues that's going on in this country. And here's the report. Lemon defended the recent onslaught of statues that have been destroyed by rioters of non-Confederates like Ulysses S. Grant and George Washington, saying movements are often messy and how young people have asked for decades for the removal of certain statues, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. Nobody is erasing history, Lemon told Cuomo. What people are trying to do is put in context, and these are conversations that we should be having. And yes, they are messy, and sometimes people aren't smart about which statues that should be taken down. Fine. All right, so wait just a second here. What conversations? This isn't conversations. Destroying property, rioting, looting, vandalism, that's not a conversation. They are destroying property. They are engaging in lawlessness. They are being criminals. And he calls that a conversation that's gotten messy? Give me a break. Here's more from the report. If the people on the other side would think, well, maybe we should get involved in the conversation about which statues should be taken down, where they should be put, we should meet these people in the middle and discuss things, these are the right conversations to be had. How about we arrest the vandals? How about we stop the destruction? How about we stop the rioting and looting rather than these Democrat mayors and other Democrat leaders sitting back, doing nothing, actually praising the activity, actually defending it like Lemon did? We are not a lawless society. You want to come to the table and discuss and debate? Fine. Stop breaking the law first. All right? When you get out of jail from being prosecuted for destroying property, then we'll talk. But until then, these aren't conversations. These are mobs. These are thugs going around destroying property, putting it on YouTube and Facebook, and being happy about it. And these guys defend it. It's absolutely outrageous. So next, we're going to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell, because she was right there with Jeffrey Epstein. Now she's been arrested and people are freaking out. What she knows is what Epstein knew. And that's what a lot of people do not want to come out. And here's the story. A former friend of Ghislaine Maxwell says the accused accomplice of disgraced billionaire Jeffrey Epstein likely has a secret stockpile of potentially compromising tapes, a British paper reported Monday. Christopher Mason, a British television star and journalist who has known Miss Maxwell since the 1980s, told the Daily Mail that she will use those tapes to cut a deal. The secret stash of sex tapes I believe Ghislaine has squirreled away could end up being her get-out-of-jail-free card if authorities are willing to trade, Mr. Mason told the paper. She has copies of everything Epstein had. They could implicate some twisted movers and shakers. Uh-oh. They could implicate twisted movers and shakers? Can you say prison suicide? This is getting a little nuts, folks. They need to keep an eye on this person. And here's more of the story. Federal prosecutors in New York say she helped procure underage girls by Epstein's alleged sex trafficking empire. Some of Epstein's alleged victims say they were trafficked to high-profile political and business leaders. One accuser, Virginia Giuffre, said in an unsealed deposition that she was trafficked to Prince Andrew, former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell, and former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, and others. Not only did Epstein like to capture himself with underage girls on camera, he wanted to make sure he had something to hold over the rich and powerful men who took advantage of his largesse, Mr. Mason said in an interview. Miss Maxwell is being held without bail. Her next court appearance is Friday in New York. Can you imagine the information she has? Can you imagine the people who are freaking out right now? She's in jail. What are the policies, procedures of keeping her safe? Because you saw what Epstein did when he committed suicide. She knows what he knows, folks. She knows exactly. And there are tons of people out there, business, political, entertainment, who are freaking out. So we'll keep on it. We'll see what happens. Hopefully she's still around next week. That's our show for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. And we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Everly. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.